Hello, this is George Pruitt, and this is my YouTube channel. I'm going to show you a trading strategy today that takes advantage of a couple of what I call unusual functions that are not built into TradeStation's library, but I built those, the functions for this particular analysis. This analysis is going to be looking at seasonality. And when I say seasonality, that doesn't mean it's based on the 4 seasons. It means a repeating a pattern or an occurrence that happens frequently, and it has some type of technical advantage to it or edge. And so I'm going to show you some hypothetical performance numbers. So really quickly, I wanted to discuss the CFTC's required risk disclosure for hypothetical results. I'm going to let you read that real quick. And I assume by proceeding to watch the video, you understand the implications of the pitfalls of hypothetical back-tested numbers. There's a lot of things that are covered up by hypothetical backtesting. In this case, I'm going to show you some performance numbers where I am not taking any commission or slippage out. And we're going to do some data mining as well, meaning that we're going to use this tool to create a strategy that is not necessarily designed to be traded in real time, but it is designed for you to do some further testing and maybe incorporate some of the ideas in this video into your own trading. And again, I'm going to discuss the turning of the month strategy. That's where you buy at the end of the current month, and then you wait so many days into the new month before you liquidate. So you're trying to take advantage of that that phenomenon that's been known for many years, and I've written several blog posts and written in books about this pattern. Okay, let's take a look at. I'll go ahead and get this out of your way. And remember, if you like my videos and you've not purchased my books yet, that might be something that you're interested in. What I'm discussing is covered in my books. And I've got the Easing into Easy Language series, which consists of 4 books. I started with the Foundation Edition. It's like the Beginner's Edition. I jump into, with the High-Res Edition, into intraday charting, 5-minute bars, 1-minute bars. I go to Advanced Topics, where we talk about double dimensional arrays, file processing, hash tables, really unique things that if you really want to hone your craft, you could learn a lot of easy language. And then the final book is the Easing into Easy Language Day Trading Edition. This book solely is dedicated to day trading, the ESs or any stock. So the book, that's all it talks about, is day trading. So if you like my video, check out some of my books. Okay, let's get into the strategy real quick. First off, I'm going to show you the performance numbers of this strategy. I just quickly threw together. I slapped this together pretty quick, and you can see that there is a technical edge here, technical advantage. It's got some drawdown. Again, this is not a standalone trading system. This is a tool to help you take advantage of the seasonality of this particular strategy, buying at the end of the month and getting out sometime during the next month. Let's look at the code real quick. It's a very simple strategy. It's simple from this perspective because these 2 functions, trading days left in month and trading day of month, they're doing all the hard work for you. And I wanted to discuss this trading days left in month. This is not a built-in function that's in TradeStation, so I built it myself, and I want to go over it real quick with you. Because I think it's pretty good code, and that's what I'm trying to do with all my videos on YouTube, is teach easy language or Python or some form of technique for trading. So this falls into the easy language category. And we're going to look at trading days left in month. Okay, to determine the number of days left in a trading month, say it's January the 14th, and you want to wait until there's only 5 days left in January before you take a trade, you initiate a long position. Well, how are you going to do that? You don't know how many trading days are left in the month. The only way you can determine it is you've got to use some assumptions. And the assumptions are you do know how many total days there are in a month. We all know that January has 31 days. And here I declare and define an array. It's called month days with 12 spots. Actually, it's 13 because it's zero base, but there's 13 elements or list elements in this array. They're all defaulted to 0. That's how you declare an array in easy language. And of course, you can find out that if you read my books. I discuss arrays at length. So I'll go ahead and create. I hand did this. I just went through here and said, okay, January's got 31 days. February's got 28 days. Sometimes it's got 29, and that's based on a leap year. And if you want to get really sophisticated, you could examine the year. 2024, I think, is the leap year. I think. You may have to check that. But you could mod the year by 4. Could you mod it by 4? No, you would. Okay, I'm sorry. You would mod it by 100 or whatever. Whatever you would need to divide by to get the remainder of 0 to 9 for the last element of the year, or that last digit of the year. And then if it was a 4 or divisible by 4, then it's a leap year. But I'll leave that to you. It adds a level of sophistication. It's beyond the scope of this little video here and this function. I might add that later for myself. March has 31 days and blah, blah, blah. You go down here, December has 31 days. Okay, to get the number of days left in the month, first off, you've got to figure out what the current day of the week is. Okay, that's part 1. So say it's a Wednesday, okay? And the current day of week is based off the function call, the day of week, which is built into TradeStation. You pass it the date, and it will give you a 1 to 5, with 1 being Monday and 5 being Friday. And then you can get the current day of the month by doing day of month D. So if it's the 16th of January, then the day of month is 16. So what I do is I use that information, okay? And what I originally prototyped this algorithm in Python. Now, I did that because I was in Python. I said, let me throw this together and then I'll copy it over to easy language. I could have just done this prototyping in a sandbox. And when I discuss sandbox, that means it's just a temporary indicator or strategy that is designed to only do one thing. It's not designed to develop a trading system. It's just designed to run a little bit of computer code and get the answer quick. And so I could have prototyped this in easy language, but I did it in Python. It's no big deal. You can ignore that. But I leave it there just in case you want to see how I did it in Python. So if it's the current day of the week is Wednesday, if I'm trading on Wednesday, then the number of days that is left in the month, I need to add 1 to that, okay? Because I'm always executing the next bar. I think that's why I did this. So that's the reason I added 1 to it. It works for some reason. I have to think about why I did that, but I had to do it for some reason. So loop day of week, okay? Because I'm going to loop Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then whenever it's not a Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to count it as a day of week, okay? So I want to go into the future, the current day of the month, which in this case we said 16, right? And I want to go to month days, and I'm going to index into my array month days by whatever month it is. So if it's January, I go up here, that would return 1. Month D, it's a function. I'm passing the date to the function month, and it would return 1. And then I index into the array month days 1. There's 31 days. So I'm going to go from 16 to 31, okay? Loop day of week is not equal to 1, and it's not equal to 7. Not equal to 1. You know what? That's why I did loop day of week. I wanted 1 to be Sunday, and I wanted 7 to be Saturday. That's why I did that, okay? Because I wanted it to be Saturday, I wanted to be, or Sunday, I wanted Sunday to be 1, and I wanted Saturday to be 7, which makes sense because remember, The week always starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday. So I went ahead and added 1 to it. Okay, to start. No, not to start, but I call this function on every bar, okay? That's important. This function is called on every bar. And you're saying, well, that's a lot of code for every bar. It really isn't. It really isn't, because we're only doing a very small loop inside of it. So if you were to call this, say, on every 1 minute bar, it would slow down a little bit. So you don't necessarily have to do that. If you're doing intraday bars, then you'd only want to call this function once at the beginning of the day anyways. And I discussed how to do that, how to improve function speed or execution speed on strategies by only calling functions when they're needed to be called. And that's discussed in some of my books. So I'm going to start at 16, go to 31. If the day of the week is not a Sunday and it's not a Saturday, then I'm going to increment my total days to end of month. TDTOM. That's what that variable is. Total days to end of month. I'm going to increment it. And this is how TradeStation can use what they call a unary operation or operand. It's that's the same as saying TDTEOM equals TDTEOM plus 1. That gets laborious after a while. So they've got this unary operand, and it's plus equal, and it takes place of that. Now what I'm doing here, I'm forecasting into the future. I'm on the 16th of the month. I'm going to go all the way to the end of the month because I know how many days are in the month. And I'm going to count the number of days that are I'm going to count the number of trading days that are left in the remaining calendar of that month. Okay, so I'm creating an abstract calendar of the current month by doing this, and I'm counting the number of trading days. And you can make this much more sophisticated, and I probably will for myself. And if you want this function, you call, and I'll go ahead and make it a little bit more sophisticated. But remember, we've got holidays. And in the stock market, if a holiday occurs during the month, which it will, your trading days after that holiday will be diminished by 1. So say it's Christmas, and you're on the 24th, and Christmas falls on a Friday. Well, with this simple algorithm I've created here, I'll count the 25th as a trading day, when in fact it's not. So you can make this super sophisticated if you like, by adding the holidays and things like that into it. And I will do that later. But for right now, for this testing, this will be fine. And then once I count the number of trading days, once I get to 7, loop day of week, if I get above 7, say I want to go from 1 to 7. So I want to make sure I have 7 in the loop. Once loop day of week 7 plus equal 1 becomes 8, I go ahead and I reset it to Sunday. Okay, so think about it. I'm working my way through the day of the week, through the day of the calendar. So I go 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. But I'm only counting weekdays. And that's what this little bit of code does for you. Okay, and then I sign. And when you create a function in easy language, and I talk about this in the Foundation Edition, you always have to name whatever the name of that function is, the actual name of that function, trading days left in month. You have to give it the number. You have to assign it something. If you don't assign it something, then you'll get an error. So I'm going to assign it the number of days to the end of the month. So let's go back to the strategy now. If trading days left in month equals of num days before end of month, and that's an input. I created a little input so that you can optimize this issue if you like, and we'll do that real quick. I'm going to buy, and I call it buy before end of month on the next part to open. If I'm long, I'm going to get out if the trading day of month, that's another function I created. It counts the number of trading days as they occur. If it equals the number of days after end of month, which is another input, here it's 10, I'll get out at the open. But I'm going to use a set stop loss. I don't want to risk too much per trade, and I'm going to set a profit target. And I think in this case, you have to have a large profit target because you want to let your profits run as much as possible. You want to have a relatively large stop as well because you're trading for almost a month or half a month or whatever. And you've got to give the market room to, you got to eliminate the noise. You got to trade outside that noise band, because you don't want to be stopped out every time, because it just you'll create a losing system. You could say, well, I'll use a small stop, but every time you're stopped out, it's like getting, you're getting cut by all these small. You're going to bleed to death for all these minuscule cuts, but they add up over time. So you got to give the market room to oscillate for that noise. So again, here is the equity curve for that strategy. Let's do some optimizations. Since we're dealing with daily bars, optimizations are really super quick. So let's do, let's optimize that. We're going to optimize, let's go, I don't want to go too far away from the end of the month. Let's go 4 to 12. And then I want to, how far do I want to go after the month? Let's go 5 to 15. That should be good enough, because I think that seasonal edge starts wearing off the further you get into the month. So let's just do 5 to 15. 15 is probably too much. Stop loss amount, let's optimize that. Let's take it to 2,000. And I think you're going to have at least 2,000, because, I mean, that stop can happen on the same bar of entry. We've seen it happen many times. That's fine. It's just saying, hey, you're going to optimize. Are you sure you got that number of bars set? This is not bars. This is dollars. So we're fine. Profit target. Let's optimize it. Let's start at 10,000 though, and let's go up to 15,000. It's not going to make that big of a difference. And increment 400 is fine. Now that's again, it's warning you that if this is bars, then you've got way too many bars. So we're not going to worry about that. So we're going to go ahead and hit optimize. And it's going to tell you, it's going to tell you, hit OK. Okay, here's your test count. It's 16,731. Since we're dealing with daily bars, that would be probably pretty quick, but it might not be fast enough. So let's do genetic. This is a genetic optimization. And I won't go into detail about genetic optimizations, but it's pretty close. It's almost as good as an exhaustive search. It's not going to turn over every stone, but it's going to come pretty close to it. It uses an algorithm to determine, hey, I'm going down this road of this certain parameter, but I've already exceeded like max drawdown of one of the other parameters, and total profit is not nearly as much. So I'm going to stop it dead in its tracks. I'm going to back out of it. I'm going to start the next optimization. Getting some pretty good numbers here. Getting kind of crazy. Let's look at the equity curve. There we go. Again, this is data mining. We don't know those numbers before we did this test. Okay, we could have come pretty close to it. What are these numbers? Let's see what it picked. That's $200,000. What's the drawdown number? Drawdown's probably pretty steep. 21,000. That's not too bad. And we're losing at $3,500 max trade drawdown. That's using a $3,500 stop. What are the settings on this? Let's go over and look. We're getting in 6 days before. Getting in 6 days before. That's pretty cool. I've never seen that before. But 6 days before the arrow. 6 days before the end of the month, getting out 14 days after the end of the month. I'm using a stop loss of 3,500, and 12,400 actually turned out to be the best profit target. I don't think that's that important. The number of trades are not that often, so you don't have to worry about commission slippage. But there's that. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty good looking equity curve for such a simple system. Volatility has picked up here, since 2020. I wouldn't expect anything but an upward equity curve since we're just buying. That's a bias that's built into the stock market and this strategy. But I wanted to show you this code because of the cool function that sometimes if it's not there, you have to make it. And that's what we did with this function here. Email me at georgepruitt@gmail.com if you're interested in these functions. And again, check out my books at Amazon.com. Just Google George Pruitt, and you'll see my Easing into Easy Language books. If you like this type of coding, it's a lot of fun. And you've got to, I know this isn't sophisticated programming, but we're starting to get beyond the beginners. But if you want to, hone your craft, become a good programmer, this is the type of code you have to do. And you have to kind of somehow figure out how to dream up something like this. And how did I come up with it? Because I've been programming for 30-something years. I don't expect a lot of people to be able to, like create a futuristic calendar of the current month. That was the best way I could come up with it. But that doesn't mean, at a given time you wouldn't have come up with it. You probably would have. But why recreate the wheel if you don't have to? Again, I think if you did read my books, and again, you can get those at Amazon.com, they would definitely help you do stuff like what I demonstrated in this video. And this is the turn of the month seasonal trade, and it definitely shows that there is something there. Now, how to use it, I guarantee you can't do it as is. You're going to have to add your own bells and whistles to it. I appreciate you listening to my video, and I hope you like my channel. And again, just check me out. Website, georgepruitt.com. And like I said, just check my books out too. I appreciate it. Thank you.